Hello, this is Shaun Nordlie, Community Manager here at Hemlock Farms. Going to start with the water bills. Late notices went out this week. They're due by July 1st, so make sure you get your water bill paid. This is first quarter water bills. Need to be paid by July 1st, or you're going to have a service interruption. So you want to make sure that you don't have that. So again, get your water bill paid. You should have a late notice in your mailbox by now. Also in your mailboxes now, your voter letters should be in there. We were told the Hemlock mailboxes received those on Monday, so take a look at that, go get your mail, make sure you keep that letter and do everything you need to, register for online voting. If you do want to do a paper ballot, there's some actionable items there. You need to send that into the Judge of Elections. If you did not get a letter, give us a call and we'll get you set up with the Judge of Elections so you can still vote. So again, voter letters went out earlier this week to the Hemlock mailboxes. If you have a mailbox somewhere else, you should be seeing it hopefully by now. Up at the Fawn Hill Family Park, we've been doing some work to add some more parking spots. This actually comes from recommendations from our Fawn Hill Improvement Ad Hoc and the PLUA committee that this past winter made recommendations to the Board of Directors to add these spots. So we've been doing the work. They're almost ready. We still need to stripe that area, and what it is going to be this year is just material down, and then next year the plan is to repave that whole parking lot and then pave that area. But it will add some additional parking, which is necessary for our big events up there, so look for that here in the next week or so. It'll be ready to go. Also up at the Fawn Hill Family Park, we now have our certificate of occupancy for the pavilion. We've got everything in place now, lighting for the egress pass and everything else that's required for the township. Did have an event there a couple weeks ago. We had a temporary certificate of occupancy for that, but we're now official and everything is good to go up at that pavilion. And next week we've got a concert there. That'll be our first big event at night up at the pavilion. Chipper Days is coming up in July. We've been talking to the contractor for that. And we don't have the exact date yet, but he did say it's either going to be July 6th that week or July 13th. So right after the holiday, if you are in the area that we've got that map on the website, also been e-blast showing which area. If you're in that area, make sure you've got your material out there just after the holidays, so when they come, they can take care of everything there. Once we get that exact date, we'll get that out to all the memberships so you know when Chipper Days starts this year. Talking propositions now, and this week I'm going to talk about proposition number 3, which is Article 6, Finance. Section 5, which is payment of bills, and really these changes are really just bringing us up to current practices for how we operate now. And when these bylaws were written many years ago, smaller staff, smaller budget. Now we've grown, we have professional staff here doing everything, so really it's just an upgrade to what we do now and the practice that we do now. And really, for the way the budget works and everything, the budget season starts for management actually in July. We start working on that. We bring it out to the Finance Committee and the Board September 15th, and then every Saturday pretty much all fall that Finance Committee goes through each budget line item, and we have to explain why we need that money, and any additional money that we might need, we have to explain why that's necessary. At the December Board of Directors meeting, the board approves the budget for the year, and that's really what our guide for the following year and the expenses that we have. So the department heads then, as they make purchases, they create a purchase order. They order the items. When they come in, they have to check those off and then submit that invoice with that purchase order. That is then reviewed by myself or John Wormuth, and then a check is cut. Those checks are then signed by, if it's under $1,000, they're signed by either John or myself. If it's over $1,000, a board of director member has to sign that. It's typically the treasurer or the board president that does that signature. So that's really how we do things. And at each month for the board of directors, there is a payment of bills section, and they have the bills that have been paid or need to be paid that have been submitted within a window there. And typically that's right after the last board meeting up to about a week before the next board meeting. So some of those bills are paid, some of those bills still have to be paid, but it's a review by the board to look at those. If they have any questions on why we paid this, or what is this, or why is this in this line item, they have the ability to look at those and question management on that, and we have answers for that. Practice 10, 15 years ago used to be that they would bring the checks to the board of directors meeting and they would be signed at that time. We can't do that anymore. Obviously, we can't pay the bills once a month. And if you look at the difference between the May board of directors meeting and the June meeting, there was 6 weeks. So we can't wait that long. So this is something we do every week, and then that report is given to the board so they can review those. We also have, if we go over line items on the budget by 10% or $1,000, the Finance Committee gets a report that is line items over budget. And for that, management needs to explain why we went over budget. And those things do happen. This past winter, with the amount of snow and ice that we had, the amount of salt that we had to buy, plus we had to buy salt from the third parties. So that line item is over budget, and we report that. We say it's over budget. We now try to make adjustments within other line items in the Public Works budget to make up for that. So there are things in place to make sure that if we do go over budget, those are out there for finance. They're for the board. Those are in the board packet so the membership can see. And we have that budget that we have to. That's how we work, and that's what we know we have to spend for the year. So that's how the whole budget process works for that. We also have a change in the proposition for checks, switching that to just payments. That would allow us to do ACH. Right now we do write checks for almost everything. We don't do ACH, but if we could do ACH, a lot of companies are asking for that. A lot of companies don't want a check. They don't have to wait for that. So there'd be a procedure in place where there's still we still have to sign off for that. Board members still has to sign for any over 1,000, but it would give us that ability, which is more in line with how things are done these days. Annual pickleball tournament is tomorrow, Saturday. They've got quite a few people coming in to play pickleball. We do have a setup for the parking lot at the clubhouse so that members will have ample parking. There is a map of that in this e-blast, so check that out. There'll be volunteers at the parking lot making sure that those participants in the pickleball tournament are parking in the proper spaces, and members will have the opportunity and open spaces at the clubhouse if they want to go use the fitness center, the outdoor pool, tennis courts, anything that they want to do. So just know that's going on tomorrow. We've got volunteers to help out with all the parking, and then public safety is also involved with that. Believe it or not, the 4th of July holiday is coming up in a couple weeks. We've got our events here July 3rd this year, which will be Friday night as kickoff down at Elm Beach with the fireworks. This year we're going to have a bus that's going to transport those that are interested to the top of the hill at Elm Beach, so we'll get more details out next week about that. But just know, if you don't like parking around Elm Beach and making that walk to the beach, there will be an option to take a bus over there. It will not go into Elm Beach parking lot, but it'll drop you off on the road, so you can get down there from there and then park in a different location, so you don't have to worry about that. So more details coming from that. On July 4th, we've got our annual duck race to benefit the Conservancy. To get your duck, make sure you contact Patty McGee to get that. You have an opportunity to win some money there. Plus then there's a lot going on in the area. Milford's having a parade that day. Holly's got their fireworks up on the lake. And we'll get all that information out to members so you know everything that's happening for that holiday weekend. And it's a big one, 250th. But again, it's 2 weeks away, believe it or not. That's all I have for this week. Check out Zappy and the Digging Deeper video. Got Teresa doing Hemlock Hangout. Everybody have a good weekend. Take care.